Hello, everybody. Today's game is from the World Cup Barcelona, the year 1989. White pieces Yasser Seirawan, and with the black pieces Alexander Beliavsky. This is after White's 30-second move. White has just played uh, Bishop to B3. And if you look at this position here, which comes from a Tartakova variation, um, in the Queen's Gambit declined, you can see opposite colored bishops and also the material. I'm sorry, the pawns are even. Only imbalance in the position is the fact that black has this outside passed pawn. But still, the position is equal. It is not enough with proper defense for white to have anything to worry about. And both kings are, relatively protected. So this should definitely be a draw here. But nevertheless, there's still play in the position. We can see here also that Seirawan, again with the white pieces, has some pressure on f7. So it's not easy for black to just move his queen away from the protection of that square. And notice also Seirawan's queen on d7 and his bishop on b3 prohibit the pawn from successfully advancing on the a file. So basically, by just holding the position as it is, um, of course, black and white both have to make moves, but in general, keeping the a pawn from advancing and white keeping pressure on the f7 pawn should be difficult for black to really undertake any thing in this position. The game should end in a draw, especially after the queens are traded off. Um, so an idea for white, for example, if he's trying to just draw the game real quick, is queen d4, right? Since the queen and king, black queen and king that is, are lined up together, just trading off queens and calling it a day, as the this pawn is not going to be dangerous on the a file. So it's black to move. That's Beliavsky, and Beliavsky, with all this in mind, played the move bishop c5. Now notice this move prohibits the idea I just spoke about of bringing the queen here and trading it off. So that can't be done. Also, what it does is it threatens white with the move bishop takes e3, right, due to the position of the king. This is not a big deal, but there it is. There's some poison inherent in this move. So Seirawan has a few choices here. He can play king, g1, right, and get out the way. Right, king g2. He could move the king. He could play king to e1. He could play queen d3. So the idea is, what does he do? Let's look at these moves. So first of all, if he plays king e1, that loses right away to queen c3. Okay, so the bishop is going to drop. Okay. So the other option is king g2, which was played in the game, or of course also king e2. Same idea. The queen would just come here and pick up this bishop. King g2 was chosen by Seirawan in the game. And he gets out of this situation where this pawn wasn't able to capture. All right. However, to his surprise, Beliavsky played bishop takes e3 anyway. The reason why is because after f takes e3, which happened in the game, Beliavsky simply played queen b2 check and picked up the bishop anyway. And Seirawan just effectively lost the pawn, and after about 30 more moves, he went on and lost this game. So let me go back and show you another possibility. So if king g1 here, this moves the king to a safe place. It avoids this threat of bishop takes e3, and now the game is still equal. So for instance, if bishop takes e3, f takes e3, there's no way that black can just immediately pick up that bishop on uh, b3. Although the position is still unclear, I think here it's better for white, as black just does not have enough compensation even after queen f3. Here he would be fighting to try to draw. All right, it won't be a guaranteed. He would be fighting to try to draw. And this is just a sample line. So you can see he has checks available, but eventually it seems maybe the king will find its way to safety and be able to avoid that. So king g1 was a move, but still, to me, even that is a little unclear because I think that black still probably might find a way to draw. Like you will have to play precisely. So I think out of all the moves, the best one is probably simply move like queen to d3, and this stops all the shenanigans with bishop takes e3 period. So play could go, for instance, bishop d6, again another sample, and it initiates the same threat of the bishop coming here, although it also prevents this move again because of that. King g2, h4, and we can see that the game would just be drawish. All right, now I want to show you another position. So you saw from that relatively simple position, Seirawan just made one wrong move with the king and playing king g2 and fell victim uh, to a simple tactic here in the position. So what's the lesson? Hey, even grandmasters make mistakes, and also uh, even with these drawers looking positions with opposite colored bishops, you have to be very careful, especially with the queens on the board. So I want to show you one more position. And this position is white to move. This game is from Esbjerg 1988 with the white pieces with the Great Dane Bent Larsen, and with the black pieces Raphael Vaganian. Now here we can see again material is equal, but we see that black's pieces are a little bit more active, a little bit more coordinated, and definitely on the offensive. You see that knight on e4, bishop on b7, rook on c8. Everything looks well placed. So if you, just a quick glance at the position, black looks like he's putting white under pressure right in the position, just at, in the cursory glance. So is white losing here or worse here? No, but he's definitely um, under pressure here and has to be careful. Right, the position is at that stage where his position is solid enough to where he can defend it, but he has to be careful because of the position of the black pieces. All right, so with that said, the first move that comes to mind for me, if I'm white, is I want to try to take away some of that activity, right? Because to me, the pawn structures, pretty symmetrical, and the only advantage I see that black really has is his piece activity. So if we could trade some pieces off and relieve some pressure, why not? So here, if I'm white, I would play a move like knight takes e4, right? Just get rid of this guy. Okay, bishop comes in and work some more trades. And the queen d2, right? Protecting the pawn, maybe freeing up this rook sometime. Queen a1, putting more pressure in the position. And with this idea, perhaps. So then rook a2. And these are the type of ideas in the position that I would be trying to play. To relieve pressure. Try to force maybe a perpetual here. And if queen c1, then we just trade. Okay. It's not that big of a deal. Rook d2, that prevents this idea. And now we are starting to get to the draw territory here. So maybe a move like King F8. I don't know. We're in the end game. Start bringing the kings to the center. F3. This allows the king to come out to F2. Right. So this guy, I don't know. Let's move him to B7. King F2, and now the bishop's free. So that's like my general idea. Of course, the tactics would have to be checked always, but that would be my general idea. White is not going to win that position, and black to me is the only one with chances there. So with that said, Bent Larson, always an optimistic player. He decided to keep the pieces on the board and play knight f5. All right, so he figures I'm gonna turn this ship around, and I'm gonna get active. And hey, there's a threat here also in that he's just threatening this fork right here. All right, so what happens now is Varganian plays rook d8, and he creates a threat of his own. And now this knight is very powerful in the position, and this knight, although it's in a good spot, it's kind of like a lone wolf, right? There's no coordination of the white pieces, so the knight kind of looks suspect there on just hanging out on f5 without any backup piece coordination. All right, to supplement it. Now rook d8 threatens a simple rook d1 right here. Therefore, bishop e2, which protects the d1 square. And now Varganian plays knight c3. Okay, and again, it's these are like trappy moves. White is definitely not that much worse, but black is somewhat more active. So knight c3, you can see the knight is just hanging. Black is threatening destruction on the back rank here. So for example, I'll just give a sample move. Say he just plays trying to play like a dumb move. It's hard to find a dumb move here, but H3 is actually a good move because it opens up space on the back rank. And again, white should acquiesce here, give up this bishop. Okay, and again, he's under some pressure, but at least some pieces have been traded off. So here after knight c3, for example, if knight g3, then this is what I was talking about. Here's the idea, like if white doesn't protect his back rank. So if knight g3, like I had to play a dumb move to illustrate the idea. Then knight takes e2, and of course if knight takes, then rook d1. So let's bring the queen up to e2, then rook d1, knight f1, and then queen a1 is possible. And there's all type of ideas, of course, with the bishop coming in and somehow and ending up on this diagonal. So rook c1, for example, and let's say h3, bishop to c6. If black plays move like b5, then just simply bishop d5 again with the same idea. So bishop d5, and this knight is just basically a sitting duck here. Like king h2 here, and now the queen is attacked and also the knight. So queen g4 to try to preserve the knight so that the bishop can't take, but the rook just takes. So that's the basic idea behind this move, is to try to exploit the back rank situation. But again, remedy for that is just play a move like h3 here. But it's hard to resist the hanging piece sometimes. So Larson played queen takes c3, and of course he knew that he wouldn't just fall into a back rank mate. He saw that his back rank was protected, so he played queen takes h3. Rook D1, check. Bishop F1. Okay, so this was his idea in defense. So him being a strong grandmaster himself, of course he saw this, and that's why he took the knight. He just simply would play Bishop F1, and now if let's say Bishop A6, for example, and just simply H3 at this point. After Bishop takes here, Queen E5. Let's say Bishop D3 here, and notice how mate is threatened. So Bishop D3 is a discovered check. King has to move, and so that comes off the board. Queen takes F5. Then White is actually better here. White is just up a pawn. There is no continued attack. So for example, Queen A2 and simply Rook C2, and now you can see that White is has turned the tables here. So going back, this was Larsson's idea. Bishop F1 is, he's going to defend. Right? He might have to give the piece, but at the end of the day, he's going to be up material. Again, if a move like Queen A1, for example, that's just simply met by the knight G3 coming back. All right? So I don't want you to think that Larsson just didn't see, he was just being greedy here. He actually saw valid, defenses. So Queen takes C3, Rook D1 by Vaganian, Bishop F1, and now this is what Larsson, I believe, overlooked here. Is Vaganian played Rook takes F1 check, and I believe this is the move that he either overlooked or underestimated. So Rook takes F1 check was played, King F1, Queen D1, right? Queen E1 again. So Larsson is like, hey, I'm good still. But here's where the tires come off the wheels. Bishop takes G2 check. This forces the king away from the queen. King takes G2, and just simply Queen takes E1, and Larsson resigns. So, good combination by Vaganian. Good foresight. I think he just looked a little bit further ahead in the combination, and he caught Larsson out there. Larsson might even saw this much, but missed this move. But I believe it's the sacrifice, the exchange sacrifice that he missed in this idea. Rook takes F1, and again, Larsson had to resign. So those are just two positions that caught my eye when studying chess over the last few days, and I figured that I share them with you. So again, just remember, stay focused on the board, and don't take anything for granted. One thing I do want to say also is, like, listen, if the position looks like this, opponent's pieces like very active. Like the pawn structure is pretty symmetrical. So everything else being even, the position's probably drawish. But again, the thing that stood out right away to me is the activity and coordination of the black pieces. So to me, that you have to get rid of that. That's like that's what gives the nod to black. Like if I have to give a slight edge to somebody, I have to give it to black. He has more space in the center, but it's the activity of the pieces. And notice with that bishop takes G3, G2 move at the end, that's what tipped the scales ultimately and caused white as queen. And it all stemmed from the activity in this position. That's why when I first analyzed this game, knight takes E4 is like an instinctive move. Yeah, bishop takes E4 replaces the knight, but it's one less attacking piece. All right. And with that knight going, there is no knight C3, baiting white as he did. Okay, so those are just some ideas for you to take along with you. And at the end of this video, I would like to say thank you for watching, and just check the links below. Just some DVDs/books related to the opening that you saw. Well, you didn't see an opening, but these games stem from Tartakover variations of the Queen's Gambit decline. So there's just some fun videos and in the form of DVDs. And for those of you who still read books, there's book links down there. And also of great importance is my donation link. Please donate and support my channel. And also like, subscribe, and share these videos so that my videos can be seen more in the Google algorithm. I have about 600 videos, and I welcome you to look over the channel, and you will see that a lot of great content on the channel. All right, so I'll see you guys on the next video, and I would love to hear from you, comments and suggestions and questions, and I'll get right back to you as soon as possible. Okay, see you guys soon.